I am just going to talk through a couple of issues that I'm running into here. One thing you can see is that my dress is much narrower than the skirt circumference of the original dress, but my dress is also a little bit longer than the original dress. The stitch count is identically the same. Now, could I have blocked this and pulled it out to a little bit wider instead of longer? Yeah, I probably could have. I blocked it very aggressively for length. I tried stretching it out. It does stretch as far as this, but I don't know if it's the right amount of stretch. Starting here, it's not blocked, so the mid-project block was from here down. This waistband and this waistband seem significantly different in size, and it does not seem to be able to be stretched to the size of the waistband. Then this panel does seem like it is perfectly adequately sized to be the width and the height that it needs to be. I'm right at the spot where basically this lace panel is this lace panel, and the blue that I've done is the last row before the neck that I need to work. So I'm working on my neck shaping, trying to figure that out, printing out and doodling and doing all kinds of things. But as I was doing that, I put the stitches up against the dress and noticed that my waistband is exactly half of the diameter of this skirt, but their waistband, you can see that the waistband has this little extra edge here and here, and you can see it even more clearly on the back where the stitches go up and then they go over and then they go up. Now this is a straight line up. This is a straight line up from here to here. So this is a straight amount of stitches. There's not really a lot of shaping once you start here at the bottom of the sleeve, but what I have not done is I have not given myself this girth, these extra stitches where it's like from here to here, this entire distance of stitches exists in the waistband, but not up here above the waistband. So I am just trying to think through whether I should undo back to here or maybe below here, redo what I did here was just knit two together around every single stitch that I had. I just halved the stitch count on mine. Then I did the waistband at that stitch count, I did this at that stitch count, and then I split for the front and back. So this is in the round, this is knitted flat. I'm just debating whether I'm going to be sorry that this waistband goes just, it splits basically. What we've got here is it splits to front and back with an identical even amount of stitches and no girth here for the underarm of the sleeve. And is that going to be, am I going to be sorry? I think I'm going to be sorry because you need that girth at the underarm or else you can't raise your arms. So I'm just thinking about how I should do this. I could leave the waistband as is and then just add stitches for the girth at the underarm and make this a little narrower, which would honestly make sense because my gauge is a little smaller on this yarn than it is on this yarn. So then I could just proportionately scale down the whole top part of the dress for a smaller child. Or I could rip back all the way to here, do a little less aggressive of a decrease than knit two together around so that my waistband is bigger, and then decrease in this garter section here to get down to my stitch count, or to not even decrease necessarily, just work my panel several stitches in from the edge on both the front section and the back section. I really think there's no alternative than to work several stitches in. Like, let's say I took off 3 or 4 stitches here and 3 or 4 stitches here, that would be enough. Same thing over here, just like you cast on like 3 or 4 stitches at the underarm when you're working top down. So I genuinely think I'm going to be sorry if I don't do that, and I'm genuinely not really eager to rip all this out. But I also think I'm going to be sorrier if I just keep going. The other thing that I'll just mention that I've been thinking through here is this neckline is 5 inches wide. So when I say 5 inches, it's about from 3 to 8 when you don't count the picked up stitches for the border. So from here to here is about 5 inches. And on my gauge, I was trying to think, should I proportionally scale that down or should I keep the stitch count the same? And I've been thinking through the ramifications of the neck getting too tight. And I think that what I need to do is widen my neckline, so take some of the width from the shoulder and give it to the neck for my gauge, because my stitches are smaller. So whereas this neckline was about 38 inches wide, mine, I was calculating, should be 46 inches wide to reach 5 inches. And I think that I should do that, or else the neck will be too tight.